Well, for more on the trends influencing the U.S. jobs market, I'm joined now by Elizabeht Crofoot. She's Senior Economist at the Conference Board. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So let's start with this headline number of 3.6%. What do you attribute this historically low unemployment rate to?
You know, it's really part of some very strong fundamentals in the economy right now. Last week we saw a strong number for domestic growth at 3.2% also, so that is very in line with that as well. We just saw numbers for first quarter productivity growth, which were also up. So you combine, historically low unemployment rates with also low inflation and these other strong fundamentals, and you get this, almost fairy tale economy.
And it certainly is. I mean, since the Great Recession ended, employment has grown 100 months in a row, and estimated 20 million jobs have been created. Now, we know that much of that uptick had started to occur before President Trump was elected. But which of his policies do you see as having the biggest impact on jobs?
Well, it's, the administration would attribute a lot of their policies for impacting job growth. But I think the important thing is to, focus on the fundamentals of how, the labor market is growing, partially due to, there's a lot of, we have a very tight labor market. There's a lot of the labor force participation. We did see that is coming down, but largely due to the retirement, the older
People
workers that are out of the workforce. Exactly. So there is a lot going on right now, and it's hard to say exactly if there's one particular policy that may be impacting more so than others.
Now let's look at the jobs themselves. How do you view the quality and the types of jobs that are being created?
That's a really interesting question. Right now I think there's a lot of talk about automation and, the types of jobs that are being seen, how jobs are evolving. And, the conversation is, or a lot of times is driven by fear of, how is my job going? Is my job going to disappear in the future? And instead of having that dialogue, it should be changed to, how is the job going to evolve? How is it going to change? There's only a certain proportion of jobs or tasks within a certain occupation that actually can be automated. So the important aspect here is to focus on those particular skills of workers that can be, how workers can be trained in certain skills and involved with the technology going forward.
So they shouldn't just think their jobs will be ruled out. It may be certain tasks within the job, and perhaps, as we saw from the report, maybe focus on other things like creativity. Now, you mentioned the jobs data and also the growth numbers that we saw for the GDP number. So would you say that the jobs data is reflective of the overall health of the U.S. economy? Oh,
definitely. I mean, I mentioned the 3.2% growth in GDP that we saw, and we're also seeing that we're actually expecting growth in GDP to come down somewhat from that 3% level, more so to 2 to 2.5% moving forward. And the same sort of story with the labor market as well. Growth seems very strong right now, but moving forward, we're also going to see us coming down to a lower growth path in terms of employment. So, for example, we saw that for the first quarter of 2018, average job growth was well over 200,000 jobs, and now in 2019, that first quarter number is lower, closer to 180,000. So we're still going to see sustained job growth, but just at a lower level.
Now, some people wonder, obviously, with the Federal Reserve taking its foot off the gas in terms of rate hikes, that the U.S. may not be prepared for another shock. What is your take on this?
It's definitely going to take another shock to put us into a recession. Right now, we don't see any of those signs that there is a recession looming. So, there's really no reason to think that would be coming anytime soon. All the signs point to a healthy economy moving forward, and only a systemic shock could put us into a different path.
All right, always good to have you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Elizabeht Crofoot there, Senior Economist in Labour Markets at the Conference Board.